James Oglethorpe founded Georgia as haven for people imprisoned for debt. Benjamin Franklin. In his Pennsylvania Gazette, he warned his fellow colonists that they must join or die. Roger Williams, punished by exile for advocating separation of church and state in Massachusetts Bay, founded Rhode Island. Nathaniel Bacon, leader of the rebellion against Gov. Berkeley. Bacon's rebellion was mainly supported by young men, frustrated by their inability to acquire land. Charles II, English monarch when Carolinas, Powhatan and Ct were founded. Edmund Andros headed the Dominion of New England. Jonathan Edwards, leader of the Great Awakening. Anne Hutchinson, punished by exile for challenging the authority of leading Puritan clergymen in Massachusetts Bay. Pocahontas supposedly saved Captain John Smith's life. King Phillip, Indian chieftain, shot and beheaded for leading an uprising against whites in New England. Cotton Mather, Congregational minister, led a group of ministers to oppose the Salem witch trials as convicting people on dubious evidence. Joint stock company, a type of primitive corporation used to fund Jamestown. 1607, Jamestown. John Smith settled English colony at Jamestown in 1606. Joint stock companies allowed investors to pool their wealth to support a colony for profit. Jamestown, Virginia Company, First English Settlement 1607. Powhatan, tribe that lived near Jamestown that originally helped colonists. Headright system gave anyone who paid for their own or another's passage to Virginia received 50 acres. Indentured servants, colonists who received free passage to North America in exchange for working without pay for a certain number of years. Royal colony, a colony under direct control of the king. Nathaniel Bacon, a planter who led a rebellion with 1,000 other Virginians in 1676. The rebels were mostly frontiersmen forced toward the backcountry in search of fertile land. Puritans, church members who wanted to reform or purify the Church of England. John Winthrop, New England's first governor, who believed that America would be a shelter from religious persecution. Separatists fled from England to escape religious persecution. Plymouth Colony, founded by separatist families and was the second permanent English colony. Cash crops, crops sold for money at market. Plantation, an estate where cash crops are grown on a large scale, mainly a southern thing. Triangular trade, colonial trade route between New England, the West Indies, and Africa. Colony, a group of people in one place who are ruled by a parent country elsewhere. The 13 British colonies formed what is now the United States of America. Mayflower Compact, 1620, the first agreement for self-government in America. It was signed by the 41 men on the Mayflower and set up a government for the Plymouth colony. House of Burgesses, the first elected legislative assembly in the New World, established in the colony of Virginia in 1619, representative colony set up by England to make laws and levy taxes, but England could veto its legislative acts, acted like Parliament. Trial by jury, the right of a person to be tried by a jury, or a group of citizens, to decide if the person is guilty or innocent of committing a crime. Charter, legal document giving certain rights to a person or company. Peter Stuyvesant, Director General of the Dutch New Netherland colony, he was forced to surrender New Netherland to the English. William Penn, a Quaker that founded Pennsylvania to establish a place where his people and others could live in peace and be free from persecution. Metacomb, 1639 to 1676, Wampanoag Native American known to the English as King Phillip. He led one of the last Native Americans' battles against the colonists in New England in 1676. Lord Baltimore started Maryland to provide a safe place, refuge for Catholics, and to make a profit. James Oglethorpe founded Georgia as a place for debtors to work off their debt, did not believe in slavery. James, Duke of York, brother of Charles II, took possession of the conquered Dutch province of New Netherland, renaming NY and New Jersey. Thomas Hooker, a Puritan minister who founded Connecticut and wrote the Fundamental Orders. Indigo, a plant used to make valuable blue dye. Spectral evidence, evidence that you can't see. They did this a lot at the Salem witch trials. I saw her dancing with the devil. Salutary neglect. When one country ignores another. Britain ignored the colonies for a period of time, and during that time, the colonies started to feel more independence. Mercantilism. When a larger country benefits from a smaller country in terms of markets and raw materials. England restricted trade in the colonies so that they could only trade with them. Jamestown, VA. First permanent English settlement. Triangular trade. Colonial trade routes between Africa, England, West Indies, and the colonies. New England colonies. Rocky soil, cold climate, many harbors and ports, economy based on fur fishing. Middle colonies. Breadbasket colonies, warm summers, cold winters, fertile soil, wheat, corn. Southern colonies. Asterisk warm, long growing season. Asterisk many plantations. Asterisk relied on slavery to be profitable. Middle Passage. The journey African slaves took from Africa to the West Indies. Proclamation Line of 1763. Asterisk Act forbade people from settling west of the Appalachian Mountains. Albany Plan of Union. Created by Benjamin Franklin, tried to convince colonies they needed to join together to fight the French. Asterisk colonies rejected this plan because they feared losing their independence as individual. Quartering Acts. When colonists were forced to have British soldiers living with them. Declaration of Independence. Asterisk statement written from delegates in the colonies to England to give reasons why they were separating from England. Thomas Paine. Asterisk wrote a pamphlet called Common Sense. Asterisk convinced colonists it was common sense to become independent from England. Asterisk government's sole purpose is to protect life, liberty and property. Reasons for exploration. God, spread Christianity, gold, gain wealth, glory, fame and international recognition. 1607. Jamestown founded, first permanent English settlement. 1620. Plymouth founded, Pilgrims arrive and Mayflower Compact is signed to establish self-government. Virginia House of Burgesses. First representative assembly in North America. Mayflower Compact. Signed by Pilgrim men who agreed to self-government through a social contract. New England Colonies. Settled by Pilgrims and Puritans to escape religious persecution in England, Massachusetts, Rhode Island, New Hampshire, Connecticut. Middle Colonies. Diversity and religious tolerance, New York, New Jersey, Delaware. Southern Colonies. Longer summers, richer soil, Maryland, Virginia, North and South Carolina, Georgia. Thomas Hooker, founder of Connecticut, adopted the Fundamental Orders of Connecticut. Fundamental Orders of Connecticut. America's first written constitution. William Penn. Founded Pennsylvania as a refuge for Quakers, supported freedom of worship, welcomed immigrants and sought peace with Native Americans. Anne Hutchinson. Banished from Massachusetts, one of the founders of Rhode Island. Triangular trade. A three-way system of trade during 1600 to 1800 as Africa sent slaves to America, America sent raw materials to Europe, and Europe sent guns and rum to Africa. French and Indian War. British colonists wanted French land. British fought against French and Native American allies. Native Americans fought with French out of fear British would take their lands. Treaty of Paris ended the French and Indian War. Britain left in debt and began taxing colonists to pay for war. Proclamation of 1763 established Proclamation of 1763 established to keep colonists from settling west of the Appalachian Mountains.